Purpose from the machine. So in the machine of your organization, when you put in investment and input, do you get a predictable output? Is it smooth or is it bumpy? Is it scalable or is it lots of manual effort? Do you get the same results day after day, year after year? For most organizations, at some point in their life cycle, they have to be able to develop the machine in order to grow and take the next step. And even if you're not forced to do this, early on, it's going to yield huge momentum if you understand this. Only 4% of organizations reach $10 million annually. And at that point, the biggest factor that separates those with less than $10 million and those with greater than $10 million is a system to reproduce consistent results and scale and an understanding of how the machine works. We are going to build a model for your organization so you can do just that. So what is a machine? Remember back, we talked about a machine being a model. And in this case, we're going to use machine as a model of your organization. The inputs that allow you to invest into the machine with a sequence and a structure that allows you to get the output and the results that you need. The machine is composed of many subsystems, and within those subsystems are components, just like a machine. To make the machine work, we have to break it down into the parts and understand how each part, every part, contributes to the output. If it doesn't contribute to the output, it ought not to be there. But remember, a good model has a defined output with inputs, a structure and that supports the delivery of the output, and accepts inputs that in a certain sequence that creates value. And so even structure of the machine contributes to the output of the machine. The machine for your organization is complex, and it's your job as a leader to understand it and to make it work. At the highest level of the organization, it's the input from all your stakeholders, including shareholders, the lives of the people that contribute, the money, the talents, everything that goes into it. And out of the machine comes a promise to each of your stakeholders. So within the machine, you ought to be able to trace the meaning and value created for your customers throughout the machine. You ought to be able to trace how your employees use their God-given talents, how they have joy in their work and grow throughout the machine, how you support your vendors and your suppliers within that, how you represent all your stakeholders, and most importantly in the machine, how you model and get the output of your purpose, that one thing that trumps all the other stakeholders that everyone ought to be buying into when they join your organization, whether as investors, whether as customers, whether as partners, whether as staff. And so the purpose output of the machine is what we are going to focus on. When you break the machine down into its subsystem parts, they will contribute to that output, that purpose. Just like in this model, the cylinder of a steam engine, the steam goes into the cylinder and pushes the crankshaft as the output of that particular subsystem. That crankshaft then drives the flywheel, which drives the output. You can see the subsystems in the machine. In like manner, your sales engine takes in prospective customers, matches those customers that fit at the right time to produce new customers. The top leader of the organization must see how all these subsystems work together to create the machine. Other leaders have responsibility for subsystems. Some leaders have responsibility for components. But as a top leader, you have to understand the whole thing. What happens when the machine is not well understood?